So time for another Carbonwurks how-to. This time it's for our G8X front bumper ducts. So as they are aligned here, they're to replace this original factory grille there. Unfortunately that is a front bumper off job. I'm getting quite used to that now. You will also be able to find that as a separate video on our channel. So because of the length of the procedures involved, what we've done, we've broken it down. So first things first, get that bumper off. And then once that bumper is off, you'll come to this video, just show you the next stage of bumper off, stripping down of the bumper, swapping over of the vents, getting that all in place, and then beyond that it'll be back to reinstallation of the bumper. So this should be fairly sort of concise, just focusing on work done on the bumper once it's removed from the car, and that is on this occasion to fit these vents. So stay tuned, you'll see those go on, and I'll walk you through tools, parts, tops tips on getting that all done with ease and also without causing any issues to the rest of the car. Okay, so first part of this how-to vid on the front ducts is tooling. Fairly straightforward on this one. 8mm socket with a ratchet or a gun, and then your trim tools, standard trim tool set, non-marking. Little screwdrivers, quite often handy when it comes to disconnecting the plug connectors for things like the park sensors that you'll see when we get into the next step. Also got a bit of rapid detailer. This is matte satin safe for this particular car. But just a bit of rapid detailer to clean down the apertures when everything's ready to go back together. Quick note, we will be, or hopefully have got set up an Amazon shop which will link you into similar like-for-like tooling that will get you through doing this job by yourself. So as you can see, I've got the bumper off the car now. Refer to the other video, link at the top maybe from Tim, as to how the bumper came to being removed. But what we're going to focus on now is the installation of our front duct package. So they fit from the rear, they hide behind this inner skin of the bumper, of which there are two, one on either side. So this part of the walkthrough is going to take you through the process of removing this panel from the inside of the bumper. It's reasonably straightforward. There's a lot of plastic clips, there's a few fixings, and a little bit of wiring to contend with. So tool wise, you'll need a trusty trim tool, 8mm socket and ratchet, and potentially a little flat bladey screwdriver. So I'll pop those there. Okay, so we'll start by removing the wiring, which is going to include unplugging this parking sensor here. So that just means you need to pull back this light coloured grey tab, pinch, squeeze between finger and thumb and pull back on the connector and it should release. It's also got a couple of plastic poppers which hold it onto the back of the trim panel, so pull that out of the way and that will remove the wiring. Next we'll be looking at the fixings. 8mm, I've got it on a ratchet here. Certainly as these go into plastic, it's a good idea not to be too heavy-handed with them, so using hand control rather than gun is best. So there's 3 of these. They just need to be undone completely. Okay, so this last one at the trailing edge of the bumper is in relation to a bracket. That little bracket has some sprung-loaded tabs which just require you to squeeze them in, which will then allow it to release from the bumper end itself. Squeeze in, and then once they're both released, he says as it's clipped itself back in, you can then pull that little bracket out and put that to one side with the bolts. Okay, so the remainder of this task involves taking out these poppers here, trim clips. So trim tool for that. Just pull back on the center and then the whole lot should want to release. So that's those 3 taken care of. There's also a metal clip on the top edge here which can be removed. That's purely a case of pulling it straight up and off. So again, put those to one side. Then at this point all that's left is a series of mounting points with plastic clips to the bumper to release, and then it should come away. One bit that I will add, we have come across a couple of cars now where, as well as the bolts and the various other fixings, this inner trim also has a line of self-adhesive sticky tape, double-sided tape that holds it to the bumper. So we got to the point where we thought it was all ready to come off, and it still felt like it was bolted fully home, and that was because of that sticky tape there. So just look out for that. We think possibly it's an M4 versus M3 thing, this being an M3 bumper. It doesn't appear to have it, but yeah, something to look out for, something we've seen. Okay, so with all of those preliminary bits done, it should be ready to just unclip and disconnect from the bumper. So in terms of mounting points or fixing points, there's a clip at the top here, a series of clips under the headlamp aperture, tucks in under a couple of clips on the edge here. There's a locating dowel here, more clips here, and then a rather substantial clip at either end of the duct / grill that we're replacing. So I'll start up here just because it's closest to the camera. So again, it might be useful to have your plastic trim tool to hand just to help to release these clips. So pull the bumper edge back, and then using the trim tool you can open up the clips, and if you can get behind the trim, that will help you pop it forward over the trim locations. And once you've worked your way along the whole edge, it should release that top edge. Next we'll come down to here, so you've got a clip there. Again, using your handy trim tool, you can pop that out, and then on the dowel at this end here, you're going to have to lift the trim up and over, which in this case has actually released the main one clip, this side of the duct aperture, and then you've just got this other one here, which is released. And now all that you need to focus on is the fact that it actually tucks behind the grill panel just here. So there's this extra bracket, so you'll have to tip the trim right up in order to be able to pull it out from underneath that tab. And then there you have it, that's one inner skin removed. So that's the passenger side inner trim removed. I'm going to go ahead and again do the driver's side. Don't need to walk you through that because it is the exact same process. The only thing that is different is there's an extra bit of wiring. This again may be different UK to cars overseas. For this UK car, the wiring comes to a multi-plug on the driver's side. So there's just a little bit more to untuck. And then behind this here, there is a release. So I tend to just wiggle it and pull, and then that will slide off and allow you to release the wiring. Again, disconnect the parking sensor, much the same as the other side. And that's leaving you ready to do the rest of the work as per previous instruction to get this side off as well. And then the grills are wide open, ready for the ducts to go in their place. Also at this point, on other cars that have done more mileage, seen a bit of road use, we tend to find it beneficial to give the back end of the bumper a really good clean down. Believe it or not, you still get quite a lot of grit, gravel, general dirt and rubbish coming in. So it's a brilliant time to just get in there, clean that out and stop anything chafing up against paintwork, bodywork that ultimately is going to damage the finish of your car. Okay, so we're now ready to fit these ducts. These are a really nice part, so they're not quite full carbon in as much as the clip system that holds them to the bumper has been replicated in plastic, literally absolutely bang on. I've not had a single issue with any of these going on. So all that means is we need to release the original grille, which is held in by a series of plastic tabs around the outside, and then this fits directly in its place. Push down, engage the clips, job done. So I'll show you how to remove this now, and then we'll be able to fit this straight afterwards. So removal of the grille is as simple as disengaging a number of plastic lugs around the outside. So again, plastic trim tool, start to spread those tabs out away from the center point of the grille whilst lifting it up from behind, and now even these are starting to pop without me using the trim tool. So just work your way around the edge, working each clip, and then eventually it will fall off. So new shiny new duct, ready to go in. Again, all just a case of making sure you're lined up all the way around. There is a foam gasket on this as well, which is just a nice little touch. Once you're happy that all the tabs are lined up around the outside, hold a hand underneath the bumper and then push on each edge all the way around to engage. It is a bit stiff, So what that does mean is that it's nice and secure, and it's not just going to happen to pop out one day. But all it's taking is pressure by hand, enough to push it down past the clips to engage. You hear them pop, and that's it. That's in fitted. So that's the passenger side done. I'll repeat the same for the driver's side. It's exactly the same process, so I don't need to break it down for you. I'm sure Tim will probably get a bit of B-roll though. And then with that done, that is the installation complete, and all you need to do is refit the inner skins of the bumper as previous, and then the bumper back on the car. So I'll get that done. You can enjoy a bit of B-roll. Join you at the end to wrap up. Job's good. So that's both the ducts installed, hassle-free as predicted. Lovely parts. Looking forward to seeing them on the car. Time to put the bumper back together. So just again, one point to make life easy for everyone. I've got caught out by this myself before. So when you're installing this, where these ducts are a little bit larger, what you really need to make sure you do is tuck the top edge in behind this tab here on the grille, which will then mean that you don't encounter issues down the line trying to get it all to fit. So with that done, you then just need to tuck it around the ducts, and then you're in a position where you can start offering up all the tabs, clipping it back into place as it was before, and then repeat again on the same on the other side. So I'm going to crack on and get this done. Everyone knows what it looks like now because we've taken it all off, and then yeah, we'll reconvene in a minute once it's all assembled, ready to go back on the car. We'll do a little final piece showing it all finished and fitted up. Okay, so that about wraps up getting the bumper reassembled. I'm just going to flip it up to give you guys a look. So as this is our development car, we are mid-process of putting a full package on, which means that I'm about to go and replace the main front grille as the next step. So those are the ducts installed, looking lovely and aggressive. And then yeah, that's it installed with the standard front grille, which is about to do a disappearing act in my next tutorial video. So that about wraps it up for the how-to on the ducts. I'm going to chuck the bumper back on, which is part of the bumper how-to. So we'll show you with it installed on the car and wrap up the video in a minute, but that is the bulk of it. So thanks for joining us, and yeah, I'll get this done and dusted and we'll show you it all fit up at the end. So with the bumper back on, that is a wrap for the duct installation. As you can see, they are in, they are looking splendid. We really like them. We think it's something that's definitely missing from the car when it comes from factory. Fits exactly as a BMW part does. No issues, no hold-ups in this installation. Obviously, bumper's gone back on. There's a separate video on our listing for that, so check out the channel. And that's it. We'll join us. Hope you join us on the next how-to. As usual, like, share, subscribe would be really appreciated, and we'll see you again soon.